The question is this, Mr. Dale. Louisiana has recently passed some of the toughest ethics reform laws in the nation to end the legacy of corruption, under the table, and closed-door deals that we've been known for. Each of you as candidates have pledged that you will institute zero policy or zero tolerance for corruption and bribery. The question is this, as a candidate, describe what actions will you take to ensure that your administration will be run in a transparent manner, free from corruption and conflicts of interest?
Well, the first thing I would do as Parish President is to form a committee to go over all resumes that are submitted from my department head. As your Parish President, I will ensure by having a background check on all employees. And through that committee, it would do a research on each individual that applying for those jobs and make sure and make certain that they would not have a conflict of interest in terms of being employed by St. John the Baptist Parish. It's very, very important to get department heads, and that's what we're talking about, department heads that are clear in terms of a background check, department heads that are willing to work with people and people-type employees. We have employees right now that meet in an open room to discuss business. The person, give you one example, if a person comes in to pay the water bill, or the water has been disconnected, that individual stands to another individual and open discussion of your business to everyone in that office. Sometimes you get an employee that really treat our resident very, very cruelly. They speak to them any kind of way, harsh, everything else. But get back to the question, I will make sure that I will have department heads that are going to run their department efficiently and be sure that everyone is treated fairly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Brother Cole, could you please answer the question, as a candidate, describe what action will you take to ensure that your administration will be run in a transparent manner, free from corruption and conflict of interest?
Well, first, I think in order to regain the public trust, which is what anybody that gets elected will have to do, and it's what we're doing now. First, the government has to be open, and that's the first key. And like I said earlier, I think one of the keys to having an open government is to have a government that's not afraid to talk to the people. Because when the people can voice their opinions through a town hall, through a parish website, and can question their officials and demand an answer on why it takes 4 months to get a pothole fixed, that government is open. Second, it takes enforcement. Well, back to the open comment. We also need to post all of our contracts online. The budgeting process should be posted online so that if any citizen at midnight wanted to know how their money is being spent, they can pull it up and get the information. Second is enforcement. Because you can pass all the policies you want and you can be as open as you want, you must have policies in place that you can fall back on to discipline. I commit to introduce legislation that would require full disclosure of all members of the administration, full financial disclosure, same as elected officials, an insurance disclosure ordinance. And then the third key, open enforcement, the third key is delivering on promises. The people have to see results if they're going to trust their government. And it's brick by brick, mortar by mortar. It's fixing that pothole. It's answering that question. It's delivering clean water, which was activated on November 16th, 2009. The people of Laplace finally have clean water that they can drink. It's fixing their sewer problems so that they know the money that they're spending is being invested wisely in delivering solutions to their problems. Open it up, enforce it, and then deliver on it. Thank you.
Mr. Gerald Kelly, please answer the question. As a candidate, describe what action will you take to ensure that your administration will run in a transparent manner, free from corruption, conflict of interest?
Approximately a year ago, in a poll, 85% of St. John citizens that were polled indicated that the parish was moving in the right direction. That poll today, only 36% of the people indicate that we're moving in the right direction. This is a very serious problem of corruption. It's really the number one problem that as we go around and we talk to people, trust is the most important. Trust in government is one of the most important things we must bring back to government. Our leaders must show a good example. I will allow no one, I'll have zero tolerance. I will basically check it to my department head. I will meet with them on a weekly basis, and I will make sure that the budget is followed as it should be followed. I will make sure that there's in place a bidding system that we bid out everything from a paper pencil to a roll of toilet paper. That we take the low bid and we'll make these bids open in public. We're going to stop these closed meetings behind closed doors. We'll have an open door policy in place, and we'll also set up a fraud hotline for whistleblowers. This is a very serious problem, people, that we have in St. John Parish, and for us to get back online, we must, as leaders, bring back the trust to you, that you, in fact, believe we are honest and we have an honest government. That's a very, very serious problem, and we have to address this issue. I will take no prisoners. I will basically look at what we have. Any of my people who are out of line as far as my department heads, they will be warned. And if they continue to do this, we'll say adios, amigo. We want leaders that will make sure there's accountability. Thank you.
Mr. Obama, would you please answer the question? As a candidate, describe what action will you take to ensure that your administration will be run in a transparent manner, free from corruption and conflict of interest?
Well, as a member of the governor's staff, during the proposal of the most stringent ethics standards, obviously I'm very, very familiar with what they require. I think St. John needs a similar type of policy. I want to introduce an anti-corruption policy, a policy that will address not just department heads, but all top administrative staff. There are existing policies now for elected officials for disclosure, but I think it's critical that everyone with decision-making powers or recommendations from your top administrators also disclose where their incomes are coming from. We all know that the elected officials actually cast the votes, but many of those recommendations come from department heads, chief administrative officers, other top administrative staff. I think it's very clear that there's a need to disclose that income. Jefferson is showing us how that needed to be done a long time ago. The other thing I think is critical is that we have a list of all subcontractors for every contract that we award. There's a system of hiding or disguising who actually is getting the money. I think it's critical that there be a list of all subcontractors. That needs to be in the policy. I think it's important that we not only introduce a new policy, but we follow the ones that are in place. We all know corruption is the greatest threat to our government at this point. That is what the people of St. John are saying. That is their biggest concern. We want to think that it's water and drainage and sewage, but right now, it's corruption, and the corruption of their elected officials. We need to root out that evil, because that is what is guiding the corruption. It's all about evil and greed. That needs to end. That culture that has existed for so long, that culture of corruption ends now.
Thank you.